Good morning. Let's see. We got to do all our housekeeping stuff. Hey, what's up, Ducky Dev? How are you? Oh, sick, dude. Oh, being sick is the worst. It's the worst. I always say if you're sick, well, so what I usually say if you're not sick, you got 99 problems. If you're sick, you got one problem, right? Which is your health. So that really sucks. Hello, Artwork Studios. Hello, Stefan. Hello, Suhas. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys are off to a good start to your day. I have lots of bat. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. Well, I'm gonna pop out the chat window here. A little easier to see. Oh, you're ending your day. Nice. Yeah, time zones are a weird thing, man. They are a weird thing. I mean, when I started streaming, I didn't think that I would get people in my streams from other places than the US, which has kind of been an interesting thing for me. So, yeah, it's interesting to think about time zones. We do have a lot of familiar faces. I prefer familiar faces. Familiar faces um, over trolls. Which, I mean, fingers crossed. Like, it's been quite some time since one of my streams has been bombarded by a bunch of trolls. I have a lot of manual busy work to do today, and I'm kind of procrastinating on starting it. I'm gonna switch out my keyboard too, because I always feel like whenever I'm procrastinating on doing work, having a different keyboard is a nice it's a nice carrot to to motivate me to do some work. My bat is 5%, so if I just disappear, y'all know why. Oh, are you talking about like your battery? Is that what you're talking about? Like your phone battery? You need to get a charger, Stefan. How dare you show up to one of my streams without a charger? How dare you? Oh. Alright, I guess we should do a Pomodoro session, shouldn't we? Keep myself honest. A reject. My head feels like it got smashed between two bricks, then thrown across the room to the first floor. If I felt like that, then I would go to bed. I would just go lay in bed and scroll YouTube or TikTok. Oh, that's all right, Stefan. If you go bye-bye, we'll know. Your phone bat died. Choose a... I have no idea what you're talking about, and no, I'm not in the habit of going to festivals that I know nothing about with strangers from my YouTube chat. That seems like a very risky behavior, and so I will not engage in it. Is your wife back? Yes, she is. She got back Monday afternoon, but she is indeed back, and it is lovely. I mean, if you marry the right person, you know, that's like, I mean, that's got to be one of the most important decisions you make in your life is who you marry or who you. I mean, you don't even have to necessarily marry them, but like who you partner with, like who you build a life with. It's a very important decision. What's KPA practice? I don't know what that is. KPA practice? Oh, I forgot to plug my keyboard in. I'm just over here typing. Nothing's happening. Well, there's a reason for that. Also, there's a potential that like there is a potential that my camera falls at some point because I currently have this little. I wish I could take a picture of it. I currently have this Logitech webcam that's like it's really janky. I'm gonna take a picture of it and put it in Discord. So if the camera all of a sudden falls and the stream becomes very very chaotic, you'll know why. God, you gotta get through like 100 permission prompts to take a picture and put it in Discord. Actually, I might be able to show it on stream. So here's what my setup currently looks like. So that little webcam is on top of my bigger camera. And it's just like precariously set there. Let's see, hold on. I missed some stuff here. How do I implement shrugs into my training? Traps are my most neglected muscle by far. If you have issues with a muscle, you should train it every day. It should be the first thing you should train. And for things like your trap and your calf, you should train it every day. Those muscles tend to require really high volume very frequently to grow, in my experience. So, Stefan, I would put shrugs at the beginning of every workout, and when you're the freshest, and just annihilate them day after day. That would be my same approach if you struggle with calf growth. Do the same thing. Ducky Dev, congratulations on your 100 stars. If it falls, let's see who acts the most nonchalantly. If it falls, it'll probably just be the end of the stream. Signed up to be a cadet, to be the student council president, might make it to be a candidate. Oh, candidate, not a cadet. Candidate. Well, I hope you get it, Ducky Dev. Tyler, did she make it worth your while? Oh man, my wife is smoking, Tyler. like smoking hot. So it was just nice to be able to look at her again. That's unstable. It is unstable in more ways than one. Butterscotch, to be honest, I don't like overgrown traps. But yeah, but like those of us who lift respect some large traps. Although I have very small traps, honestly. So I'm kind of in the same situation as Stefan. I could really use some more dedicated trap work on a regular basis. Same thing with calf. So do shrugs, calf raises, forearm curl every day for like 2 by 8. I would go higher. So I would still taper your volume up. Like I still think you should taper your volume up. But like I would go I might start with week 1 2 by you could go week 1 2 by 12, week 2 3 by 12, week 4 week can I count? Week 1 2 by 12, week 3 3 by 12, week 4 or week 3 3 by 12, then take a deload on the 4th week and then start the climb again. And I mean until the point where you feel like you can't recover from it, in my opinion. But I wouldn't do shrugs, calf raises, and forearm curls every day. I would just pick one muscle group that you want to really focus on and annihilate over a training cycle and just do that. Yeah, I wouldn't try to do shrugs, calf, and forearm. I would just say, hey, if today is chest day, at the beginning of chest day, I just pre-pinned trap work, and then on at the beginning of leg day, I just pre-pinned trap work at the beginning of every workout, and then keep it interesting. I mean, obviously, it doesn't always have to just be dumbbell shrugs. It could be barbell shrugs. You could be, you can change the angle, the variation. Like you can mix it up, keep it interesting. But I feel like those muscle groups, just in everyday living, they deal with a ton of volume, and so you need, from a training perspective, you need a really big stimulus to get them to respond. Does walking to the fridge to get some 100 plus to drink count as cardio? Probably not in the sense that most people talk about cardio, but I mean, it does count as steps, right? I don't know what's a trap. A trap is just this muscle up here, the one on the top of your shoulder, and it also connects down your back, but most people just think of it as the muscle they see between the shoulder and the neck every day, basically. Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's my advice, Stefan. I could be completely wrong, but I would at least give that a shot for, I don't know, 1, 2 mesocycles, say 4-week blocks 2 or 3 times and see how you feel. Only thing I do for traps now are basically deadlifts, so anything is better than this. Yeah. Yeah, so you might not have to push the volume too high, right? Like if you're already starting at a pretty low training volume, you may be able to get away with every day with 2 sets, climbing up to 4 sets, and you might be able to get away with that. The thing is, though, Stefan, because you are putting at the beginning of your workout, like you're making it a focus. So that means anything that comes after, like you have to be willing to accept, like you're not going to be fresh, right? Like your deadlift is not going to be your first lift of the day. So you're going to have to, you're accepting some amount of trade-off in that sense. Or maybe you could count the deadlifts as part of your trap volume and then follow the deadlift. I mean, you could be more strategic with it, but obviously there's a lot of subtleties here, right? But that's what I would do. Just beat the hell out of them. Hello, you Beatty. How are you doing? Suhas, I think you are the best person for advice. I don't know about that, man. I don't think I've given a lot of great advice in my life, but if people ask me, I always just try to share with people like what I think, right? And it's not always the greatest or the best, but at least it's honest. Tyler, take off your shirt and hit a flex force. No, y'all don't want to see me take off my shirt. It's not pretty. I look like a 32-year-old dad too. Stefan, my cycle is like 5 weeks, then 1 deload. That's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. I prefer to kind of stick to like the traditional like calendar month. So 3 week and then a 1 week deload. I mean, depending on what type of training you're doing, but I feel like that works pretty well. Most people's life is organized around the calendar, so if you organize the training around the calendar, then things kind of sync up a little better. But obviously, I know, Stefan, in your situation, you can pretty much shape your life around your training a little bit. So I say do what works for you. Luis, what you talking about? We've kind of gone on a little bit of a side quest this morning. We're talking about how to help grow your trap muscles. For those of you that may not know, in a prior life, I was a personal trainer for a long time. And so fitness and training, lifting weights, that's one of my big passions in life still to this day. So if anybody wants to talk about those things, I'm always game. Yeah, and Stefan, that's a great way to look at volume. Cumulative volume over the course of the week. Money. Obviously, Stefan is in the trenches because he knows what he's talking about. But yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Look at it cumulative sets over the given week and try to increase that volume over a month and then deload and repeat again. Obviously, if you can increase the load too, that's fine. You can increase the load at the same time. You Beatty deadlift is enough for me. Yeah, and it will be. I mean, that's the wild thing about training is there is so much variance. Like you even hear about like studies that people have done about a particular approach to training. And what's wild is like in those studies, the response of the participants is so varied, right? Like obviously they'll always report kind of a mean or a median, plus or minus some result. But the fact of the matter is there's such a variation in the way people respond to training stimulus. You can have some people who gain lots of muscle. You can have people who even lose muscle, which is kind of wild, but it does happen. So the training is always one of those things where you try to build a program and you try to take an approach where you're sort of in the middle of the curve when it comes to like advice. And then as you train and you understand how you individually respond to any given stimulus, you adjust to that and you kind of learn your particular physiology and genetics, because there is a wide variety, and it changes over time too as your training career, as you get further and deeper into your training career, the way you train or the way you need to train changes as well. Yes, take off. I want to see how good you are. Yeah, I'm not good at all. I just have a dad bod at this point, Sudas. My calendar is organized around my training. I love that. You know what's great is that used to be me. Then it wasn't me for a little while. Then I got a home gym, and the home gym allows me to basically do whatever I want because the logistics of training are minimal, right? Like the gym is literally 3 steps away at any given moment. So I think I work better in a group. How about you, Steven? Are you more soloist or group? It depends on the group dynamics. So I had a group that in college, I remember I had a really great experience on a group project in cell biology, which was wonderful. But it was wonderful because all the group members were very organized, on top of their shit, motivated, productive. If that's the group dynamic, then I'm all for being part of a group, being part of a team. The only problem I have with groups and teams is when groups and teams are organized and you kind of have one or more bad apples and you don't have a way to get them out of your group or your team. that's kind of where I would say I'm not a fan of group projects or team dynamics. Um, I think there's a balance. I think groups should synchronize occasionally to align on objectives, like shared objectives and outcomes. But I think there should be freedom within that group to what's the word? What's the word? It's the group should be allowed to like separate and go off and execute their individual tasks and then sync back up. You know, that I think that makes for the best type of a work environment. Any advice how become good programmers still in first semester? So I guess the first thing I would say to that is I don't know if I'm a good programmer. Um, I think I try really hard to be one. I don't know though if I am, right? Because I think that's largely in the eye of the beholder. I think somebody might look at things I built and say, "Wow, he's pretty good," and then I think there's other people who might look at things I built and say, "Yeah, that's not. He's kind of more like junior level. If he really understood what he was doing, he would do X, Y, Z." You know what I mean? So I think that standard it moves a lot. What I'll tell you is, in my opinion, in your own opinion, if you want to become better, right? So let's use more of a relative measure, meaning I want to be a better programmer than I am today, right? By my own relative measure. My advice would be get as many reps as possible writing code. Spend as much time with your fingers on your keyboard, solving problems, writing code, reading other people's code, and you will really have no other choice but to get better. So that would be my number one advice is obviously do all your educational things, get the basics. I would never tell you like if you're in school and studying for a degree, like you got to focus and do all that stuff. But then if you really want to get better, you got to get the reps. Suhas, CS50P or CS50. Yeah, those are both great too. What Suhas is referencing there is a couple kind of introduction to programming courses that are on YouTube for free that are taught by a guy named David Malin from, I think he's at Harvard, right? But those are very good courses. At least you don't have to go through the pain to cancel a gym membership. Yeah, it's funny. The last time I had a gym membership was 3 summers ago. I got a gym membership for 3 months in the summer just because it gets super hot here in Kansas, and I thought it would be fun to have a gym membership. And it was a pain in the ass to cancel it, which is kind of wild because I used to own a gym, not like a commercial gym. It was more like a private personal training gym. But yeah, it's crazy to me that gyms still can't seem to figure out how to make cancellation of your membership painless. To be honest, for me, the ones who aren't good know they can't do nothing, so they just sit back, and the rest of the group is like, "Yeah, sure, take some credit, it's fine." Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. That chafes me, and then I just end up becoming a bad. I kind of become toxic because I get angry and then call those people out and say, I don't know. That chafes at me that people act that way. You are, Steven. You use framework with C# and I don't know how the hell to do that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm better than I was a year ago. I'm better than I was 2 years ago, and that's my goal. Is just to keep improving my skill set. Let's go, Stefan. Got the charger. Here we go. Bruh, you are a good programmer. I appreciate that, Sauce. I really am not trying to fish for compliments. I really do mean that genuinely. I think relatively, I know I'm better than I was, a year, 2 year, 3 years ago. But I haven't worked, I think, with enough other programmers. I haven't worked with enough other developers to really have a good objective feel to like how my ability stacks up to another person's. So that's why I say like I don't know if I'm a good one. So I hate to give advice like as if I am one. But yeah, I just think you should focus on your only comparison should be to your prior self, right? We're all running our own race. Learn C and flex on them. Yeah, you would totally flex on me because I've never written C. And at this point, I don't have plans to learn it, but that could change. I mean, I've got another 30 years of working, right? So there's tons of time for me to explore a lot of these technologies. I bet if I made a gym with the easy gym canceling method, it gets way more people. Yeah, see, the thing is, Steph in here, it's super easy to cancel a gym membership since all are like small local gyms. That's the way it should be. Now, the problem, so the problem here in the US is the commercial gym model is largely predicated on overselling your square footage, and then you are betting that the vast majority of your members will come a handful of times and then never come again, and you will just bill their credit card or their bank account for till the end of time, which is why they make cancellation difficult. So the vast majority of commercial gyms in the US are operated on that model. I used to work at a commercial gym as a personal trainer. I know for a fact that is the game plan. It is like if everybody who had a membership at most gyms in the US showed up, there would not be enough equipment, there would not be enough square footage. Like it's almost like it's yeah, it's not a healthy business model, but it just is what it is, unfortunately. Um, the fitness industry has a lot of problems, a lot of issues, but unfortunately that's the what unfortunately, while it's kind of a toxic business model, it's successful. People make a lot of money off of it. See you, Suas. Have a good day, man. Best idea for a gym is to only charge if people miss a day and charge good. Yeah, that would actually. So, Planet Fitness here in the United States ran a special. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was Planet Fitness. One of the bigger box gyms here in the States ran a special where they actually, was it Planet Fitness or was it a, it might have just been a gym in my hometown. Now I'm thinking it might have been a gym in my hometown called Kolaw Fitness. I remember somebody that was running a special where if you signed up and if you came 1 day a week, your price was like $30 a month. But if you came a second day, your price that month dropped to like $20 a month or something, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they were trying to incentivize people to return. Um, the fact of the matter, though, is like they wouldn't offer that special if they didn't have good statistics and good data to say that people won't do that, right? Like that that is an incentive. That is a way to sell people on their aspirational selves, right? It's a way to say, "Oh yeah, if you sign up, it's $30, but if you come 3 times a week, which obviously you're going to come 3 times a week cuz like why wouldn't you want to come 3 times a week? Because you want to get in better shape." Uh, and so it's a way to help sell people through their aspirational view of who they think they're going to be, and then they're never going to be that, and the gym's still going to make money. Because commercial gyms are not set up for people to be successful in the long term in their fitness journey. That's not the goal of a commercial gym. That shit. If I made a gym, it would be free, and you would only pay monthly for not coming. I like that. Prakhar, can you give me a referral? A referral for what, Prakhar? Because I would never like say no. I don't want to co-sign for you, but it depends on what you want me to co-sign on. Yeah, the gym business model is crazy. It really is. It's very toxic. That's actually, I don't think I've talked about this on stream. So that's part of my retirement plan is whenever I do get to a point where work is optional, I want to rent my own space. I want, like, kind of, if you guys know who Sam Solik is, Sam Solik actually just got his own private gym, and he's done a couple tours of it on his YouTube channel, and But like that's what I want. I want to have my own private gym, and I'm only gonna let people I like be members, and it purely exists for my own benefit, and then for people that I like and fuck with and want to have as part of my training circle, I'll let them come and use it. But other than that, it's just a very expensive hobby that keeps me occupied in my free time. Or get a home gym would be awesome. The thing with the home, so the reason why I say I want my own private gym is because the thing with the home gym is you're always constrained. I mean, I guess you could have your private gym be at your home if you have enough room, but I would like to be able to have like friends and family to be able to use my gym, but not necessarily have to come to my house. But the thing with the home gym is you're somewhat limited on the equipment, right? Because you're limited ultimately on space. So if you get something like Sam Solikaz, which is kind of like a small commercial unit, it looks like, then you have the ability to get some larger machines, some more complex things, um, which are always more fun. Make training more fun. Here, gym monthly is $30. I would make it free, but at the end of the month, you pay $5 that you didn't show up. This is an interesting model. You could, I mean, you might be able. I mean, the thing is though, that's one of those things where it's like, if the dollar value is small enough, people will just sign up and just never go, and they'll be okay with it. Like, and then in the back of their head, they'll be like, oh well, eventually I'll go one day. Like, there's nothing about that business model that actually is trying to get people healthier. What would you think about that medical system? Does this sonography apply for the application? I don't know what you're talking. I think I missed maybe something, Suhas. I might have missed your. I don't understand your question. May I know where you're from? I live in Kansas in the United States. Stefan, would you let me be a member? For sure, man. For sure. I mean, it could definitely become a destination too, right? I don't know how long I'll keep doing the YouTuber thing, but you know, maybe when I'm, I don't know. I would love to be retired by the time I'm 50, but if I'm still making content at that age, it could become like it could be kind of like, you see some of those gyms now that people like, Alpha Land, right? That's a big one. A lot of people like just they take a trip specifically to go and train at Alpha Land because it's Christian Guzman's gym, you know? So maybe one day I have some friends from Serbia that make the trip over here to train at my gym. One could only hope. My personal gym is just my school bag because it's multi-purpose and it's heavy enough. Hey, I mean, that's the thing. Like, training can be as simple or as complex as you want to make it. You know? There's really no excuse not to train because you don't really need much besides your own body to get in a workout. But it definitely makes it more interesting and more fun if you have other equipment. I was not expecting to talk this much about working out on stream this morning. This has been a nice surprise. Well, I would like to visit Serbia one day, Stefan. So we can do like an exchange program. Traveling is just kind of expensive. I just bought tickets, airplane tickets, for a domestic flight that was work related, and it was like, I think all in the trip, a round trip was like $700. I mean, it's very expensive to travel. What motivate you to start YouTube? Curious. Oh, interesting. So this actually came up. Was it yesterday or Monday? This story came up. So my very first YouTube channel was called Freeborn Training Systems, and you can find it on YouTube today. There's probably over 1,000 videos on that channel. I started that channel when I was very early on in my personal training career. For two reasons. So one reason was I was super self-conscious about the way my voice sounds. I'd always been kind of made fun of growing up that my voice was nasally, and yeah, so I was just super self-conscious about it. So I was like, it would be really helpful if I just made a lot of videos and was forced to edit those videos, so I'd have to listen to the sound of my own voice and sort of inoculate myself out of that self-consciousness. And then also it was like, hey, I can also use some of this content to like promote myself as a trainer. And so that's what originally got me to start making content on YouTube. Then once I started making content, I just really enjoyed the act of making content. And so I've continued to do that. And originally that was mostly around fitness. Then I got married and we had kids and I started vlogging, so I created this channel and started making a lot of content that was just more around like my life. Then 5 years ago or so, I got deep into learning how to program and code and build software. And so now I've started to try to make a little bit of content around that. And I don't know, in 5 years, it might be something else. Uh, but just the act of making, like the act of doing something creative, of putting something on the internet, I find very enjoyable. I feel better when I do it. I feel more productive. I feel more motivated to do other things. So that's that's the story of my content creation journey. And yeah, and it did help with me getting over that self-consciousness. I guess I should close the loop there. It did help. Now I don't even think twice about the way I sound. Not much to see, honestly, other than food. Well, hey man, I'd be fine with making trips to just eat food. Oh, okay, Suas, I see what you're saying. Yes, agreed. The medical system in the U.S. is not really a health system; it's a sick care system. Yes, 100%. I don't know though. I don't know though if people are actually maliciously not trying to help people be healthy. I think it's more of just the system is somewhat broken, especially when it comes to like the economics of the healthcare system, at least in the US, in terms of like what insurance will pay for and what you like. Most things that would actually go towards the bucket of like taking care of your health, like proactively, are not really associated with the American healthcare system, right? Like eating healthy, working out, having a gym membership, getting massages, all those types of kind of proactive self-care are not things in the US we would traditionally associate with healthcare, right? And so that's I think more of this it's more of a systematic thing. It's not that doctors and nurses and healthcare professionals don't want to do those things or don't recognize the importance of those things. It's just a systematic issue, um, which is unfortunate. Let's see. Somebody asked where I'm from. Supreet. I'm from Kansas, Supreet. So if you know, I'm in the United States. If you know where Kansas is, then I'm in the state of Kansas. If you're really familiar with U.S. geography, then I'm in Kansas City, Kansas. Can you open it on your phone and show to stream? Want to see what that? Oh, I can link it to you. It's still out there. Here, I'll just link it in chat. And maybe at some point I'll resurrect it. You know. But like my first video on that channel was 11 years ago, I think. We looked at this one other day on stream. See, oldest. My first video on there was 13 years ago, and it was mostly instructional stuff. The first actually like face to camera video was 11 years ago. But here's the link to the channel, so you can go and check it out. Maybe at some point I'll come back around to it. Evren. Hello, Evren. There you go. I said your name. Hello, 556. Yeah, I mean, I think what he did was completely wrong. I mean, that guy was completely horribly wrong. I understand people's frustration with that company, but what he did in response to that frustration is completely wrong. I got in an argument with someone on Blue Sky about that after it happened. Let's see. Wait, Steven, are you the guy drawn on gym machines? No. But that would be pretty cool. I've watched your few COD streams. Oh yeah, so I did, and I also did on this channel do a little bit of gaming content. Um, because there was a there was a while from like 2018 to like 2022. I played Call of Duty like every night for like 3 or 4 hours with some friends. So I started making a little bit of content around Call of Duty, but nothing consistent. Sarah's Diaries. Hello. How are you? What is the largest city in Kansas? I think it's Kansas City. Yeah, I think Kansas City, Kansas is the largest. Let me look it up real quick. It's either Kansas City or Wichita or Topeka, probably. Most of the population of Kansas is all on the eastern side of Kansas. Once you go, once you go to an hour or two to the west, Kansas becomes pretty much unpopulated. Basically all the cattle lots and feed lots are in western Kansas in the United States, so there's nothing really out there except agricultural food production, really. So it looks like Wichita is the biggest, because I get, and that makes sense because Kansas City is split across Missouri and Kansas, so it looks like Wichita has the largest population, with looks like it's 396,000 people. The other thing is Kansas City is more like a metropolitan area too, so that's probably not a good. That probably wasn't a good guess. Like Kansas City is sort of made up of more than one city at this point, or at least the Kansas City metro area. Oh, I know Kansas. Nice, yeah. That's where I'm at. There's not much here, just flat land. I grew up in Missouri, if you know where Missouri is. I originally grew up in Missouri, but we moved to Kansas City, Kansas, like 4 years ago now, 5 years ago almost at this point. If I ever come to the United States, would you take a selfie with me? Sure, man. Sure. Why not? I've never heard of that song, but if it's a classic, I will 100% take your word for it. CR Work Studios, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Yeah, we'll probably be live again. I've got to go to a stand-up meeting at 9 minutes at 10 a.m. this morning, so I've got to drop off myself here pretty soon. But I will be live again this afternoon, or at least that's my plan. Not sure why, but it feels comforting to watch a video that's been up for almost a decade. Yeah, God, man. I look back at some of these videos and, like, it takes me back to where I was at that point in my life, the things I was doing, the people I was hanging out with, and it's like a time machine almost. It's kind of wild. Like there's some videos on that channel, that Freeborn Training Systems channel, where I'm training in some gyms and some spaces that they really were some formative years in my life. Like just that those would have been, a lot of these years would have been my college years. So I was working my butt off. I was trying to support myself as a personal trainer. I was working in the hospital as a medical scribe 36 hours a week. Me and my wife are living together, or she wasn't my wife then, but she's my wife now. I was trying to get a degree in biochemistry. I thought I was going to go to medical school, and so it's just wild to see how much in your life can change in 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, whatever it is. It goes by fast, that's for sure. Hello, Mohammed. How are you? See you, Butterscotch. St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis is on the east side of Missouri, and Kansas City is on the west side of Missouri. Fuchida. A person I worked with said companies would move down the stream from Kansas City to the other Kansas City for tax purposes. I'm actually not sure which side of the, Missouri, Kansas is more favorable from a tax perspective. I'm sure one is. I'm just not sure which one. So that does sound like something probably companies would do. Um, I know for individuals, it for a lot of individuals will try to live on whatever side of the state their company's based in, just to avoid the messiness of having to deal with state tax in two different states. Suhas, quality versus quantity. What do you prefer? For me personally, I think quality is largely in the eye of the beholder. What I think is a quality video, somebody else's not. So, in my opinion, when it comes to the creators I follow, I personally just prefer them to make content. And I'm okay if the quality is different, especially if like they're making different types of content. I'm okay with the quality of that content being somewhat subjective. It's always going to be subjective, but I really look forward to them making stuff like for example, Casey Neistat. That was somebody who like I follow his channel like religiously. Every time there's a new video, I go and watch it. He could make like 75% lower quality videos, and I would still appreciate having them, more frequently, I guess. So there's like this balance between if Mark Rober is another good YouTube example of this. Mark Rober makes really high quality videos, but he does like one every month or almost every 2 months, almost at this point, I think. And so I love the high quality videos, but if he could give us more content more frequently that was maybe lower quality, I'd be okay with that. So there's sort of like this balance between quality and frequency. The higher quality production something is, often the longer it takes to produce, and vice versa. Muhammad, you changed camera? I did. I have a 30 millimeter lens on my big camera, and so if I try to do like a vertical stream, the video is like the camera frame is like right up on my face. Like you can only see my face. So I've been using this old Logitech webcam I have to do these streams, just because it has a little bit wider field of view, and so when I do a vertical stream, it's not so like cropped in. David, the hairline is criminal. I'm sorry, man. What am I gonna do? I think quantity cause you eat a lot. What? Bigger hairline, bigger stomach. David's very focused on my hairline. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. My hair is my hair, My wife hasn't left me yet, so I mean, if my wife says, if my wife starts making jokes about my hairline, then obviously I'll do something about it, but she hasn't started yet. Hello, Sean. How are you? Good to see you, man. The hurricane season is still going on right now. Yeah, I guess I'm in Kansas, so I'm in the middle. I'm in a landlocked state, so hurricanes aren't something I worry about too much. But if you're in a place where hurricanes are dangerous, I hope you're being safe. Suas, I watch you for your content because you are like my friend who also stream. Well, that's nice. I'm glad that my content comes across as being approachable and friendly and relatable. There's nothing special about me. Like I said, I'm a 32-year-old dad, married, living in Kansas, working a normal 40-hour week job, saving for retirement. Like, I'm just an everyday person. So I hope that does come across in the content. I'm not trying to be the next great YouTuber. I'm not trying to be the master programmer. I'm just trying to make content around stuff I enjoy, the things that I'm doing, the things I'm building, the things I'm learning. And if other people enjoy that, then great, you know. Stefan, can you check Discord? Sure. I'm going to have to jump in 2 minutes because I've got stand-up. And you know how much we all love stand-ups, but unfortunately they are necessary evil at this point. Can you check out? Oh, yeah, for sure, Stefan, I can. Yeah, I've got no allegiance to Nightbot. It's just it was the first tool like that Butterscotch recommended. But yeah, I can check out Parse for sure. Thanks for the recommendation, man. Oh, this is something different. This isn't like Nightbot. You're saying Nightbot is canceling your message. Turn any website into an API. Parse gets you data from anywhere without a single browser. Wow, this looks really cool. Although I bet there's a lot of people who run websites that hate this type of thing. I can't share this on stream, but Stefan, I'm just not set up at the moment to share my screen. But Stefan recommended me or asked me to check out this thing, and it looks pretty cool. It's called ParseBot. I'll put the link in the chat for everybody else. Hello, Elias. How are you? But yeah, this looks very cool, Stefan. Thanks for sending this over. I'll have to play around with it a little bit. Hello, it definitely comes across. You seem really down to earth, and I like the rest of us early 30s. Oh, nice. Very cool. Well, I'm glad. That's the way I hope it comes across. Hello, Rodney. How are you? All the way from Greece. I would love to go to Greece someday. There's lots of places in the world. Noku, sorry, I missed your message, by the way. Good to see you again, Noku. Seems like a cool project. Yeah, for sure it seems like a cool project, especially in this new AI world where people are constantly trying to inject more context or more useful context into these AI systems. You know, being able to take all these existing websites and turn it into structured data. It's wonderful. All right, guys, I gotta head over to stand up. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'll be live again. Let me check my calendar really quick. Make sure I don't have any meetings overlapping with my normal. Yeah, I have a meeting at 1:30, but that should be over by 2. So yeah, I should be back on my lunch break around 2 o'clock Central Standard Time to actually do a little bit of programming, a little bit of coding. So I'll catch you guys then. Bye, y'all. Hope you guys have a good day. If it's still Wednesday for you, have a great Wednesday. If it's Thursday for you, have a great Thursday. And if I am going to see you again later, awesome. If you see me live, stop in, say hi. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.